until we go live because I have some thoughts about those whole first couple of pages. I have lots and lots and lots of thoughts about that. Do. Y'all know what I feel like it always takes a second. Hold on, I can't see anything. I mean, I see people here, but if you're here, say something. I'm giving up on you.
It looks like it's up on my other tab.
It's up. Yeah, it's up. Hey, Emma.
Hello.
Hey, Jessica. Jessica, you saw my review of issue 55 on Goodreads. What did I say? I said I hate Gwendolyn. That's the review. That's it.
So I went to look at like reviews after I read it, and that was the
Uh-huh.
first review that popped up on my like friends, and I started laughing. Like I was like, of course, Ashley. I was like in full agreement.
Did you see
Here, but
Did you see what I put on my story though? I put it on like when I put on my story. As soon as I read it, I was like, "What did I say?" I'm trying not to get this flagged,
I
but
think it was pretty much the same as the review, but a little bit more embellished.
But yeah, it was a little bit more embellishment going on in there. It's a little bit more. We can give it a couple of minutes.
I just pulled it up. Gwendolyn can kiss my whole ass.
Mm-hmm.
Trifling B, and I say that with my whole chest. That feels like a very Ashley statement.
Yeah,
it was a very Ashley statement.
So...
I was so hot last night because Bree and I were on a call, and I went to go take a bath, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to read issue 55." I got out that tub pissed. Was pissed off. And then somebody at work today was like, "Did you read issue 55 yet?" I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "I haven't bought it yet. Don't tell me anything." And I was like, "Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to tell you anything. Not going to tell you not a thing." All right. So, what have y'all been reading? I feel like I start every live like this now just because it's just a thing to do. What have y'all been reading outside of Saga? What are you currently reading?
Nothing. I'm trying to get through like some of my TBR stuff for January that I was supposed to do, and I think I'm just at that point where like I read the ones that I was interested in, and then I had some more like random ones that like they're on my TBR. I should read eventually, but I don't think I've picked up a book in like 4 days, maybe
Nothing
more.
wrong with that.
So I'm just like, nothing.
We all need breaks.
Oh yeah,
we all need breaks.
Izzy, are you?
I just started Twisted Hate.
Oh.
By Anna Huang, the third book in her Twisted series, and you know, I'm just really excited. We have an Asian male lead for our love interest, enemies to lovers, and it's her best friend's brother. Just mix all the tropes in a pot.
All the tropes.
And I was like,
all
this
the
is
tropes.
exactly
Mix
what I
all
need
the
right
tropes.
now.
Bree?
What am I not reading? I mean, I'm still trying to get through the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. And at first, I was like, oh, I was going to make this a vlog, and the vlog was going to be dope. And then I said, sis, you ain't got time, nor do you want to do a vlog on an 812-page book. So you're not going to do that. So then I am now paying close attention to stuff I've been paying attention reading the book. So now I'm just going to do a sit down video called The Black as Fuck Moments in the Love Song, blah, blah, blah. So just picking moments to discuss.
That's cool.
I am behind on all the comics and graphic novels I wanted to read. And I'm still reading The Maiden. And then I'm trying to prevent myself from starting Library Wars Volume 1.
The manga?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Izzy, have you read that? Or have you heard anything about that one? Library? I mean, I've
not heard anything about that one. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know anything about that one.
I haven't read it. I really want to pick up Izzy Blood on the Tracks. I have the
If you
first 3
can't find it,
volumes
let me
checked out.
know. Okay. I was gonna say if you can't get it, I will happily send you my copies to read and send back to me
Yeah,
if you can't find
I have
it.
the first
Because
3 volumes
it's
checked out
so
from the
good.
library.
So good. My library didn't have them, so I just like bought them and I was like, I don't regret this. They're very fast. But so good.
You said
Twisted? Are they twisted?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all I need
You're
to
gonna
know.
finish I can't wait. You're gonna finish that first volume and just be like, what did I just read?
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
And it
Now you
only
really
gets
want to read the
worse.
first volume tonight. All right. Trying to finish The Burning God by R. Kwong. Okay. I will be reading that trilogy for the first time over the course of the next 3 months with Erica. Parasol Protectorate. I want to go back and read that series. It was a big thing on book 2 probably about 5 years ago. A lot of people were reading was it Gail Carrot? How do you say her last name?
Character?
Yeah.
Character?
Character.
Character, I think
Yeah,
so.
I'm gonna keep butchering
You're
it.
fine. Those are such fun steampunk
Steampunk, yeah, when
romance
steampunk was good.
books. I never finished that series. I should.
Okay, Lady's Guide to Mechanics and the Priory of the Orange Tree. I saw that Bethany was reading Priory of the Orange Tree. That's a big boy.
it is. I thought about reading it.
So did
Because I
I.
want to read more tomes this year.
I want to read it, but it's so long. I need like a buddy read group or like we read a set amount every day, and I would do it. Bethany's reading all the long books right now, though. Like we just read House of Earth and Blood together.
Oh yeah.
And then she was like, and I'm reading this and this. I was like, are any of your books not over 600 pages right now?
Listen, I get it. I've been doing the long romances this month, the 600-page romances this month. 500, 600-page romance books. I don't know. Because, one of my huge goals for 2022 was to read 100,000 pages. So I'm not so worried
I
about
have a
the
similar
number.
goal too.
Yeah.
But I'm way off.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the number right now, like the number of books. But I know that in order to do that, I have to start reading, some bigger books. Plus, I think I've gotten a tad bit adverse to reading large books, and I need to fix that. That's been.
I do too. Celestial Mechanics is really good, also. If anybody wants a sapphic historical.
Okay.
Oh, Synapse. What's that?
The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics.
You
want me to send it to you, Bree?
Yeah. Okay. I also feel like I didn't realize pages was a thing until
page goals?
Until I went to Storygraph, and then last year I just put in a random number and I thought I was gonna hit it, and the devil was a lie. So now I'm like,
yeah, those page goal numbers are such a drastic. It's harder to reach a page goal count than it is to reach a like a number, like the number of books that you read. It is a lot harder.
I was only 5,000 off from my goal last year of 100,000. So I would like to hit 100K this year.
I'm trying to find mine so I can tell y'all how far off I was. I mean, so off. I was like,
All Systems Red. I read that in 2020 because of Bethany. It's good.
But I'm waiting for them to do that Temple thing. You know what they do? Temple.
Home Topple.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to do that so I can add some more.
Okay. The blade itself knows. Okay. Yeah.
She's reading all the.
Yeah, she's reading. Yeah, she's reading all the thick boys. I just finished today. The last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy.
Ooh.
I don't know how to feel.
I've heard that last one's not as good as the first two.
It's very okay. So
I haven't read any of them, but that's what I like when I did some sprints like last week or the week before. We were talking about like stuff that people had been reading, and that was like the consensus of the people that have actually read them is the first two were really good, and the third one was disappointing.
Yikes.
Okay. So, the reason why I'm torn about it is because there's a huge character personality shift in the third one, but honestly is justifiable because of what happened in the second book. But the plot takes such a crazy spin in the third book, but it's also justifiable because it literally ties all three books together. So I'm so confused about what to rate it because when I was listening to it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is not what this book is doing. But by the time I got to the end during my lunch break today, I was like, but it makes sense. So I don't know,
Interesting.
that one kind of put me in like I refuse to listen to any other audiobooks after I finished that one today. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to read anything else for right now cuz I need to sit and let that marinate on my spirit for a second.
It'd be like that.
Hey, hey, hey. All right. Now that we got that
I can't
out the
find
way.
it. I can't find it. I don't know how to find last
Yeah,
year challenge on Storygraph.
on
So
Storygraph. I can't do Goodreads and Storygraph at the same time. I
Yeah, I
tried
don't
so
have a
badly.
story graph.
Yeah, I tried
what
to,
what
can't.
I've decided is to leave Goodreads in the dust and only upgrade when I feel like it and stick to Storygraph.
Yeah.
That's what
I've
I've
been
decided.
on Goodreads way too long
So
that
have
I'm
I.
just like I'm so used to what it is that I'm stuck in my ways.
And two, a lot of authors and publishers are still stupid plugged in to Goodreads as well. So that kind of, as a
Yeah.
reviewer, that kind of changes the game a little bit.
I think as a romance reader, sometimes Storygraph is better now than it was when I first tried it. But like I was having to import a lot of my books.
As a comic reader, I was having to import too much, and that's what turned me
Yeah,
off is
that
when I was
too.
reading my
And
single
manga,
issues.
same thing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
having to import too much.
I did just put in 55 into Storygraph.
Yeah, yeah, and it takes too much. It was taking too much of my time. So I had to import.
It's just too much of my time.
It was because I was
No,
reading too many
y'all, let
single
it
issues too quickly.
grow.
No. I'm not saying like it doesn't have like I will never use it, but right now because it's still such a new platform and for what I read, I just don't have the capacity to review and import at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
So it kind of puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage and I don't have the time to do it, but once they get on their feet more, I'm not saying that I wouldn't go back and consider doing it because like the stats alone that Storygraph pulls for your reading is a lot better than Goodreads.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, I can't wait till they get better, but they kind of fall on the backside of like audiobooks. Like I have to make everything an audiobook. Almost everything I read, I have to make a new entry because they don't have the audiobook.
Yeah.
Well, and when you count the audiobooks, it doesn't count towards your page goal.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I noticed that the other day, and I was like, it should still count towards my page goal. Like, no.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't count towards your page goal. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's probably why I didn't hit that page goal. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't even know. Well, such is life.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Jessica. Like I think with time it will get better, and it will be a really solid alternative um, to Goodreads. But I think for the mediums that I read, it's just not as effective. I think if you like you read a lot of indie manga, comics, Storygraph is just not. They just don't have the capacity right now to support those mediums of books. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about volume 9. Who cried? Did anybody cry?
A little bit.
I
got really emotional, but I didn't cry. But I was very emotional.
Oh, I'm so hormonal that I cry over everything right now. So like if I get even slightly emotional, I'm crying.
Yeah. I definitely cried. It hurt my feelings, but I kind of feel like we had talked it up so much, like we knew something bad was going to happen. And honestly, okay, if you're here and you don't you don't want to listen to spoilers, I don't recommend being here because we're definitely not going to we're not going to do a non-spoiler thing. I was more surprised.
I don't know if there's a way to not spoil it now.
Yeah, there's
Right?
no way to not spoil it at this point.
Mm-mm.
I was not surprised when Marco died. I felt like I was expecting that because of the way Hazel would talk.
Mm-hmm.
But Prince,
Mm-hmm.
the robot Prince, whatever it's, oh my,
that was so
I didn't
surprising
expect
to me. Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming.
Mm-mm.
And I felt bad because we literally had just talked about in the previous live show. I was like, I started to fall in love with him. And I just knew that this was going to be fine. But then Chelsea, it should have clicked because you brought it up when we looked at the issue covers.
It was those issues. And that was part of why I actually guessed Marco might have been in volume 9.
Yeah.
Because issue 55, I was taking a really good look at it after the last live show. And I was like, that is 100% Alana and Hazel and some other person. So I was like, why would they do that to us after so many years of hiatus if something didn't happen? But yeah, the other what, issue 56 or something was the one that, oh, come on.
Yeah, it was
I felt
Squire.
I felt like they had to do him that way that he died so quick. Like both of them, head ripped off. You know, it's just
it's so like
so quickly. But I
both
rated
the fathers
it huh?
Mm-hmm.
Both of the fathers, they just took them out in one volume. Like we had no more like father figures on board that ship anymore.
None.
We got the drug dealer.
Same volume too. I'm like, really?
We got the drug dealer, man.
I just, see, this was I know. I just fell in love with him so much because I feel like he had such a character shift from like volume 1 up until volume 9. And I really just adored him so much. And I didn't realize how much I adored him until that panel popped up. And I lost it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
The panel where he died?
Yeah, where Prince Robot's head gets ripped off.
The panel that really got to me is when Marco came out and told them that the ship left and everybody left. And he said like, oh, thank God. Like the prince was like, oh God, they're gone. So I'm good. And I was like, no. It was like just a couple things before that. But I was like, oh gosh. It wasn't true, but like he completely believed Marco. Like they're gone. I don't have to worry about any of them.
Yeah. What killed me was that Marco died, and then we got panels of heartstring pulling. I was like close to tears reading every page after that, like the little beach scene with Marco and Hazel. Oh,
it's okay. You guys are gonna make me cry again.
I know it's oh gosh, don't know because I'm tired. I'm gonna be more emotional now because I'm tired. But I just think about the fact like if this was ever to be like made into like a TV show or something, I would lose it. I would lose it so badly. Just that you're right, Brie. Like watching them as he's dying. And it's these flashbacks of the time that he spent with his daughter, who he's, for the past, how old was she when he died? How was like 5, 6? Was she like 5, 6?
7.
7? Dang.
7, because in the new issue she's 10.
She's 10. I'm like, all that time
she's almost 10.
No, she just turned 10 in the new issue.
In the new issue.
Oh yeah.
You spend all this time, and I think about this as a parent, you spend all this time protecting your child and trying to make sure they're okay. And, oh my gosh, y'all. I just have never.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that they had those pages afterward because of the fact that I was sort of mad at him for dying because he didn't kill the will. And like I knew that was going to happen as soon as he hesitated, because I was saying this like the last volume too, like, yeah, he wants to do better and he has issues with his anger, but when things are on the line for your family, sometimes I just want him to do it. And he didn't. And so as soon as it happened, I was like, I was mad at him first, and then I was mad at the will, obviously. And then they gave us those pages, and I was like, out. I was bawling. Like,
yeah, I cried. I cried. I just feel like it was just, and I understand now. Let me go back up to that comment really quick. I understand now why you hate Gwen so much.
Yeah, I didn't like her. I couldn't stand her.
I didn't like her, y'all. I felt,
right.
well, let's put it this way. I felt iffy about her as a character. But when he killed, I could understand, well, I don't want to say I understand. I understand his need for vengeance when it came to Prince Robot, because he killed the Stalk. And I felt like that was his way of, it was a tit for tat type of thing. Like he was gunning for him. But when it came to Marco, I was like, are you really so upset about the fact that you and your boyfriend didn't work out, that this is the type of vengeance that you want to go after? And you cost this man his life and ruin an entire family for what though? And then by the time we get to see her in issue 55, I was really like, somebody, like, listen, she needs to, before they get to issue 108, she's got to go. She's got to die.
In a bad way.
She's got to die in a bad way.
Agreed.
Horrible.
She has to die a horrible death.
She's like every red flag for a partner possible.
Yes.
At this point.
I keep thinking what Marco saw in her.
I don't know.
Well, and it's not even just Marco, like anybody, like, and I don't want to like say anything bad about like open relationships or anything, but the fact that she is the way she is, and the will shows up in issue 55 and she's like, oh, well, let's have sex. And he's like, well, aren't you married? And she's like, we have an arrangement. Like,
and it's
I'm
a
like,
lie.
I don't know if I believe you.
It's a lie.
Like,
it's a lie.
sure, you could have an arrangement and you can like live your life,
her.
but I don't think you do. I think you're lying.
They didn't. They didn't, because Lying Cat said that she was lying.
At that one part, I was trying to keep up with everything that they were saying with Lion Cat. But I was just like,
Lion
come
Cat was
on.
like, she said, oh, we have an arrangement. Lion Cat was like lying. They didn't have any arrangement. And it was weird to me. First of all, it was very calculated. That whole sex scene in the beginning of 55 was unlike, you know how we were hoping for Prince Robot and
Petrichor
to have sex, and they do. We finally get our sex scene with the two of them. But the sex scene between, even when the Will was having sex with the Stalk, it didn't disturb me. Like, it didn't bother me.
Except for the fact she was a spider.
Except for the fact she was a spider. But
yeah.
The sex between the Will and Gwen was disgusting. And it's crazy that I felt so disturbed by it, because literally she would slap him around for even looking at her sideways. And this issue opens up and she's like, you've been wanting to smash. So what's up? And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, this man clearly had an interest in you, but you wouldn't give him the time of day. And now all of a sudden you want to screw him, but you're screwing him because it's for your own personal gain. There's something that she is further setting him up for. And I feel like that's why she had sex with him in the opening scenes. And the fact that even when we watched the photographer and the writer have sex and they were talking while they were having sex, them communicating during sex, it was just so calculated, and she had no emotions whatsoever. It was just evil. It was so evil.
But she's evil.
I was just like, damn, she's the type of person that knows what she wants in sex. She said, suck this, pull this, do this. I said, this man was just ran around.
The Will has got, I hope he turns on her.
I hope the Will dies a slow, painful death. I said it.
It's annoying. I feel like he's like flip flopped a little bit throughout the books, like throughout the issues,
Mm-hmm.
and like I was kind of hoping we were gonna have him like come back different, I guess, if that makes sense, and not as like ready to be an ass still and like do bad things.
In issue 55, because it's been like 3 years. Yeah, I was feeling the same way. I was wondering what, like, first of all, when we start 55, I didn't realize it was 3 years ahead. But like, it makes sense, like when they first start everything. But then most people haven't changed too much, and so I was like, yeah.
I also want to know what happened to Alana's wing, if it healed or not.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it.
Oh yeah, because she got hit.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with issues. Is I'm like, I want it to be more. Like, it was over so quickly. There's so many questions that we didn't get answered yet. But
And it was an extended issue too. At that.
I know.
Yeah, that was an extended issue.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I was just blindly into it. I just know that I pre-ordered the next 3 copies.
Oh, the next 3 ones that come out, yeah, and they're coming out month by month.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank goodness,
because my pockets would be.
I'm not ready for another hiatus break, so
yeah.
I'll take this small win.
It was very this whole thing with his skull. The fact that he not only brought his skull, but then they had sex in the same vicinity of Marco's skull. And
it's also like, what were you doing? Were you keeping his body preserved? And then,
no, just the head.
It takes a long time for a flesh on a skull to deteriorate, unless he used some type of agent. And I was just like,
there are ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are ways. So I was like, what did he do to get the flesh off? And also, like, the fact that you're carrying around Marco like this, I want to fight you in these streets because Marco, I just have an attachment to that pacifist killer.
I just feel like it was very serial killer vibes. Like,
yeah, you didn't need to keep everything. Yeah, he had the shield and his cloak and like all this stuff.
Yeah, it felt
he was just sort of bringing everything with him. Yeah,
it was.
And it's like that lip sucky lady put you through hell. You said,
you talking about the lady with the
the mole? Yeah.
Mole.
Yeah. Oh, she was a mole? That's what she was?
Some sort of mole or rat or something like that. Yeah.
I didn't know what she was.
Well, and we didn't talk about this last time because I think we completely forgot with everything else going on, but she killed the dog too.
Yeah,
I was and made it into a rug. Like when she was torturing him in book 8, she was on a dog rug, and I'm like, oh, come on. Like this, you're not just mad about he killed your ex-boyfriend or something, like, or I guess current boyfriend, but like I really did not like any of that whole like stuff going on.
And the fact that she killed that one guy cat. It's like, lady.
Oh yeah, she made the will kill the other like cat.
Like, you just don't care out here killing everything. So if she died, she died. I'm ready for her to meet her maker too.
Oh yeah, she was ridiculous. There was just so much.
I just also
that was another point at which I thought, do we have a plot? Do we have a plan? Because
it was to get the will to where he needed to be to kill everybody. Yeah, because he killed the photographer too. Like
she was a plot device.
True.
She said
she killed him, but
the boyfriend at where is Petrichor? And also, I feel like the last panel was really good. We're drug dealers.
With the comment, what every marginalized community does to make it.
We're
sell drugs.
I said, not we're drug dealers.
Yeah, they're drug dealers. Because poor little Squire was short enough not to eat. It looked like what is it called?
Fade away or something like that.
Fade away, yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. Let's not do that.
Yeah. I'm like, don't get on the stuff your dad was on and almost killed everybody.
Well, he definitely was feeling Alana. At that point when he took that fade away, he was like,
man, he had her in a gag ball.
A gag ball, but he was so vanilla with his sex, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait, he's really not that vanilla at
Right.
all.
He said, I'm a fluid guy myself.
That's probably one of my favorite besides what's the lady, y'all, that gave Alana the fadeaway from the beginning?
Oh, when she said, I'm leaving, high as fuck.
I'm leaving high as fuck.
Yeah,
I don't remember her name, but that panel's amazing.
That's the best.
I need that printed and put I'm leaving like I came in.
Leaving like I came in high as fuck.
That was great.
That panel and the panel with Prince Robert being like, I'm fluid.
Yeah.
Those are probably my two favorite panels.
Yeah.
Also,
and then the last panel.
Also, the panel when Alana was working in that place, and she asked that lady who was a tree. She asked her like, "How do you do this?" And she was like, "Drugs." That took me out. I like that. Yeah.
I did read the author note at the end, and I appreciated it because he did point out a couple of amazing things about this comic series as a whole, is that it is still the same trio. And that is very rare for a comic book series to run as long as this one has run, and to keep the same people or the same team throughout the entire run, and to maintain that probably into the end of the series. It's very, very rare that happens, because people often do rotate in and out. So I did really appreciate that. And we were talking about this a little bit backstage before we hopped on, that knowing that they have already plotted out 108 issues worth of material is great, because that means that this story is at least going to be, I would say, anywhere between 18 to 20 volumes of trades. So that's nice, and that we have so much more material to look forward to.
Damn, I got so much to buy. Also, how many years you think that is?
It depends. Like, if they're only releasing once a month, so they usually do 4 or 5 issues. This first one, January, February, March, April, May. You probably won't see volume 10 until probably July, August, September. So you may be only seeing like one volume a year. So it may take them a while, or depending upon how fast they write, all this stuff is really contingent upon Image. Like, they could do once a month. Sometimes they do things where, like, I've seen where there are issues that get released like every other week or every week, but it I can say that it'll take, to be one volume a year, and then sometimes they may pick up production. Like, there's no telling. But 100 issues is a lot of issues. Go ahead, Izzy. Sorry.
That's 4.5 more years.
Yeah.
I did the math.
Yeah.
It's 4.5 more years of Saga.
Yeah.
But also, like, I wonder how much they prepped so that they could take breaks without taking a break. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And if they did it that way too, they may be able, as far as production, if they already have the material, you know what I'm saying? They can move a lot faster. It really, there's so many different factors.
I'm real curious to see how that goes, because like they can't take another 3-year break.
No, they can't, man. They can't.
No, people would riot.
Well, he was talking about how the messages that they were getting, he was like, some were really great and some were pretty messed up.
Oh, I believe there were people.
We know. Ashley, I feel like we know how bad some comic creators get treated by their fan base.
Yeah, they do. You want to talk about
look at the gay Superman comic thing.
Yeah, there are comic creators, like, harassment is. Y'all think BookTube is bad? You step into the comic world, they're straight nasty.
I don't want to be that deep. I think I might be on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Don't just stay on the sidelines. It's better out here.
Yeah, I was saying this earlier before we got on, that I highly doubt at this point that I am going to read them as trades anymore. I probably will be
Nope.
reading them issue by issue at this point because I can't wait for a
I
trade.
already subscribed digitally because I was like, I don't even want to have to go to the store to get it. I want to just like have
I'll
it.
just read it. Yeah, I just wanted to pop up on my Kindle, to be
Wait,
honest.
how do you do that?
What?
On Amazon, you can
On
subscribe to the
Amazon, you
series.
can.
And they just automatically buys it?
Yeah, every
Mhm.
month.
Y'all bullshit me.
No, you don't have to go
No.
in and pre-order every single issue. You can
I
subscribe.
feel
The
like
same.
y'all bullshit me.
No, it's like having a
No,
pull
I
list, but
just
a
did it
digital pull
today.
list.
Okay.
I
Y'all keep
literally just
talking.
did it.
Y'all keep talking while I go in here and figure this out.
I'm done. I'm so done. But this is a good point too. That 108 issues is a lot of content, but we're gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be a certain level of patience to know that, like, we got a 48 page, which is extended issue this month, and to know we have to wait until the end of next month before we're even able to get the next issue, which is only going to be in between 25 to 30 pages. It's a long wait for such a small amount of content, but it's like getting your fix, your
This
monthly.
is why comics is the most expensive like hobby.
Yeah.
Especially since
Like,
I'm gonna
30
definitely
some
buy
pages.
trades later. Yeah.
Same.
$3
When it's done,
and
I'm
maybe
gonna,
30 minutes of reading.
yeah.
If that.
I
If-
love them. If that. I love comics. I'm not critical. It's just, it's funny. Like, people are like, well, books. And it's like, oh, but my dollar per enjoyment, like, time of books is much higher than
Then yeah.
comics.
Now,
then
once you
comics.
get stuff that has art and everything, yeah.
Yeah. The art.
I
Fiona
mean, they absolutely deserve
delivered.
it. So,
Fiona delivered on this comic, and to find out that her and her partner had just become parents too. Like that's a big task, which is, I think people too don't
That's hard,
realize
yeah.
that she has to go through and draw and color all of that stuff. And although that 48 pages, I always think about the artist. Anytime I think, like, because I'm quick to be like, man, I can't believe I just paid $5 for this 30-page book, and I gotta wait another month.
The art, it took so
But
much
the art,
time.
but the art really, I feel like, is what I'm paying for, because it takes time. When you have art like Fiona Staples' art, that level of artistic ability, like,
She's
I
probably
can't
one of my
imagine how much
favorite
time it took her to draw that out.
She's probably one of my favorite artists. I won't lie. She
Oh,
does
she's good.
such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
She's good.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to subscribe.
Yeah.
And it's not popping up in my face.
All right, you got to do it on desktop.
I have
Like on our
Comixology. I go Comixology gives me a slight discount, so I'm not paying full
Same,
price.
because I have the unlimited.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I get a slight discount on single issues that I buy on Comixology.
Yeah, same. That's why I do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it saves you a little bit of money on the back end.
I'm trying to see.
And that's the thing too, is we all know, like, comic artists and creators are severely underpaid.
They are.
Brian K. Vaughan probably not
Mm.
now, but they do, like, unfortunately, like, there's a lot of not great pay practices in comics.
Mm-hmm.
And lettering and all the coloring, and does Fiona do the color too?
Yeah,
Or she
there's
just
not a
draws?
colorist on this.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
So
So it's like,
choosing those colors
always
as
worth it.
a painter, choosing colors take a long time.
Yeah, so she does the coloring and the drawing. They have someone who does the lettering, and Vaughn writes.
Yeah.
And the fact that they produced this level of work with 3 people on their team, I think that
Wild.
always blows my
Totally
mind,
wild.
because usually with comics you have an artist, you have someone who does inking, somebody who does coloring, lettering,
Mhm.
and a writer. So on a lot of comics you have 5 or 6 people on one book. They're doing the work of a full-fledged team. And with her being the artist and not having someone who's doing the inking and the coloring on her behalf, like, so she's not just sketching, but she's also inking it out and coloring. That's a heck of a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It is.
that's a lot.
Oh,
Thank you, Deidre. Now hop
stresses
out
me
before
out.
we spoil something for you. Like you got to leave.
Okay, I figured it out. You are subscribed to Saga. We will pre-order your items within 24 hours of when they
It'll
become
release. Yeah,
available.
yeah. So
All
like
right.
Jessica said, like it'll charge you right at midnight and then it'll drop it.
Yep. Sometimes it doesn't drop till like 3 a.m. Eastern time, I feel
But
like.
you'll wake up to it.
Yeah, you'll wake up to that, basically.
That's the only good thing about being like basically on the West Coast.
Oh
And
yeah,
you guys have to
you
wait
get
a little
one
bit.
per.
I
yeah,
don't.
you get stuff earlier than us.
Damn, it'd be
Yeah.
like
Win.
that.
But I'm not trying to fight nobody in a local comic shop right now for these bad boys
No, I'm not fight somebody.
because let me tell you something. I'm telling you, were there any variant covers for 55 or was it just one?
I only
No,
remember
see
the
a variant?
one.
Okay.
I didn't see any variants.
I'm telling you that when variants, if Fiona does any variants for any of the other issues, these bad boys gonna sell. Variants are worth a nice price.
What's the variant?
So a variant is so you have a standard cover, which is probably the most accessible, meaning that if you walk into a comic book shop, that's probably what you're gonna get. A variant cover usually costs a little bit more, but the cover artwork is gorgeous and they retail higher, and then over time they're worth more because they only print a certain number of variant covers. So they'll do like 500
So, like, I
prints.
pulled out a variant recently. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do like 500 prints of a variant
Wild.
and that's all they will print. That's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. And the
We
more
have like a random Deadpool variant that's $200 now.
Yeah.
We bought it for $10.
Yeah. And what will end up happening
Yeah.
too is that the more exclusive the variant, the less number of prints they will do, meaning the worth of it skyrockets. Like to get a copy of any variants, if something is killing the children issue number 1 right now, it's impossible. Unless you're willing to, sell a leg, arm, liver, kidney, the whole nine.
I'm kind of attached to all of them, for sure.
Comics is a very expensive hobby, but it can be lucrative if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
It can be.
It sounds like the long game.
Huh?
It is.
It sounds like you're in it for the long game.
Yeah. I mean, I saw people, and there are people who get stuff that I saw that are like big comic book people on YouTube. They were putting their their reviews up yesterday. So they were getting early access to stuff.
Oh, can you explain what lettering is?
So lettering is basically any text that's in a comic.
Okay.
So when you see like the font and the placement of the text on the page, which it seems very minuscule, but in the grand scheme of things, placement of text and placement of speech bubbles is very important for ease of access and reading. So the person who does the lettering chooses the font, they choose the placement, like how everything is going to look. And it's that in itself too, that can be a hard, because Brian K. Vaughan literally is just, he scripts. He literally will come up with it. Like I've seen some comics where they've actually provided like what a script will look like in the back of like a trade. So you'll see the writer has literally just scripted out. It looks like a movie script. And then you have the artist who's reading this movie script and they're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And then you have the letterer who has to take what the writer has put and figure out what font is it going to be and what does the size need to be and what's the placement on the page.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because I do.
Hey, Jesse.
Like it's like it is
impressive. Do the
impressive.
handwritten parts?
Huh?
Or does their letterer do it? Do we know?
Who?
Oh, hey.
The handwritten part.
Handwritten.
Like the
lettering.
Hazel part.
I think the
I wonder
letterer
if
does
that's their
that.
letter.
The letterer, yeah.
I mean, I would think so, but
I would think that the letterer
I
does
never
that.
thought
Yeah.
about who does that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're extremely
Yeah.
important. I have seen some
They're
people
why.
do lettering in comics, and it's been trash, and it kills the whole mood.
Well, yeah, I've read like an indie one where it felt like they didn't have the speech bubbles where they were supposed to be. So sometimes you were reading the top one first, which is what you're supposed to do, but it was actually the bottom one, and like the whole flow was hard to figure out what was supposed to come next, and so it's very important.
Yeah.
Some of the Batman, what is his name? There's one of the Batman guys. He would share his like script stuff kind of after the fact sometimes and show like how he would sketch it out almost to like and talk about how they would place lettering. This was years ago. I saw that. It's really fascinating.
I think I wish that someone told me about lettering because for so long I was just misunderstanding the first mangas I've ever read.
What do you mean?
That's different too, though, because you have to read it differently than even a comic.
Yeah, like I just didn't. I mean, with manga, comics, anything that has the bubble and then the words, I just get confused on what order, how did this top, this bottom. I think I got it now, but I still read something and be like,
a lot of manga
backwards.
is translated, so they have to fit the words into the speech bubbles that were already on the page from the Japanese. So that's even more.
Yeah, it's even more. And then the reading, your brain has to flip to read from right to left instead of left to right. So
at least it's still top down.
In front of me, I can never remember.
Yeah, and honestly, too, though, the more you read, the more you'll get used to it, and your brain, it'll become an automatic thing.
Yeah.
But this is a good point too. Lettering is the type of thing you only notice if it's done bad. That is true.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't notice
100%.
the amount of work that goes into lettering until somebody screws it up, and you're like, "What is going on? Why does this not make sense?" Because the lettering is trash.
I felt that way about a comic I just read. The fight scene felt flat because the lettering was oddly placed. That's all I will say on that. I was like, the math ain't math on the fight scene.
Yeah.
They kind of dropped the ball there.
I just think that the amount of work that goes into creating a comic in terms of, like I said, you have a sketch and somebody has to go in and ink that sketch, and then someone has to go in and color. Then you have the writer, then you have someone who's doing the lettering. And the fact that the three of them have maintained this for 55 issues, for me, when he wrote that in the back, because I didn't realize that their letterer had been the same person the entire time too. Because when people think about Saga, they think Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples, and not the guy who's doing, or the person who's doing the
letters do not get enough cover credit.
They don't get cover credit, really, to be honest.
Nor do the line artists and everyone else.
No,
they all need to be on the cover.
Yeah, I just feel like
Bitterroot made sure that they had everybody.
Well, because they have a small team too.
Yeah,
it's 3 people in Bitterroot, correct?
I think it's four or 5.
Stanford Green, David Walker.
I thought it was more than that.
I feel like it's only 3. I don't feel like they have a large team either.
And Chuck Brown.
Chuck Brown, yeah. Is that 3?
The Green, Walker. There's a Stanford guy, and Chuck.
Okay, so 4.
Or Stanley, wherever his name is. Is it Stanley? I'm looking it up right now.
Well, Walker, Brown, and Green. That's 3.
And then Rezi and Cowley's.
Well, see, they added people. See, that I think that's what Brian K. Vaughan was getting at, is that they've rotated people in, whereas with Saga, it's an even bigger deal because they have not rotated anybody in or out.
And then why? Why mess up a good thing?
Because it's a lot. Because I feel like comics are a lot more work than what people anticipate, and it doesn't pay well. A lot of comic book artists don't do comics. It's not their own, unless you're Brian K. Vaughan level. You know what I'm saying? Or you're one of these big names like James Tynion the fourth. I mean, these are guys and that can do it full time. But for a lot of creators, like Fiona hasn't done anything except some illustrations. I think she's done a couple of covers, and she was doing
She
illustrations
did
for
some
Archie.
Archie.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did art. She didn't do all of it though. She dropped
No,
off
she did only
before.
3 issues of the first volume
Okay.
of Archie. So they're not making it. So a lot of them have jobs outside of it. So, it's not something that you can do full time. So people often end up rotating in and out. And, I mean, I get it, but the fact that the 3 of them, that means that the flow of it and the energy behind it will it be the same, because it's the same 3 people. I've read comic book series where they've changed artists in the middle of a run. And I'm like, what the world? Like,
I've read some of those too, and it's very jarring if you're not expecting it.
it is. The Wicked and the Divine is a series that did that, where the art for The Wicked and the Divine was, oh my goodness gracious.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And then I feel like it was like in the 3rd volume, they brought on guest artists, and I was like, don't ever do that again.
That was my lowest rated volume for that series, because I was so not into the short story aspect of it. And we had different artists for each short story. Like, I was like, no thanks.
Don't do that. Like, oh my gosh.
Not this is trash and I don't want it no more.
No, when you rotate artists in and out, that's a surefire way for me to be like, I don't want to read this no more.
Same. I like consistency.
Not you saying you're gonna head out. Yeah. You had enough of these folks.
Yeah, I think that threw a lot, because the selling point for a lot of, I feel like, I could be wrong for saying this, but I feel like with a lot of comics that are big on BookTube, the art is the selling point, whether people realize it or not.
No, I will admit, I am 100% a visual person with both comics and manga stuff. And so the first thing that I see when I read those kind of things or want to read them is the art style. And if the art style is not my thing, I have to really be sure I'm going to want to read the story before I go into it, because otherwise I'm not going to do it. Like 100%.
I mean, they're visual mediums. Like,
they are.
And I have preferences for like what I like or what I don't. And if I don't like the art style, I'm probably not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else is like, you have to do it. Yeah.
If you've picked up any like early 2000s manga before,
I cringe sometimes.
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard because the art is so weird.
Yeah, Fruits Basket, like, story's great. I picked it up after the original like anime. The actual art style of that, though, like if I didn't already know I liked the story, I don't like the art style. I hate the art style. It's those like really, really big eyes that.
Yeah, I love the art style of that. Yeah.
I mean, I find that nostalgic because like it reminds me of my like childhood anime watching days, right?
Well, see, I didn't start watching any of that until after college. Like I got a really late start in all that kind of stuff. So.
I did too.
I rushed home and
never tell
to watch
you never tell. I wasn't reading this stuff when I was in.
No, I was like 20 something.
Yeah, I was in my 20s before I started really, really diving in. But
me too, a 30.
I feel like for a lot of the ones that make it on BookTube big, like Saga, The Wicked and Divine, kind of it had a little bit of play, but I don't think a lot of people were picking. Monstrous is a big one. People don't realize it, but it is the art that is pulling them in. So when you start playing with art styles too much, like that's a quick turn off.
Well, and it has to be cohesive with the story. Like you can't have one thing and then completely transition. Like this is where DC and Marvel excel, right? In their big series, like they do transition to new things, but even when a different artist comes on, it never like is a drastic shift, if that makes sense. Like if it's the same series, like you know what I mean?
Oh, the same series. I'm about to say, because the artwork in the new Harley Quinn run is trash.
Not trash.
No. I'm not saying it's not always good. I feel like if you like read a Batgirl run, with a set, like it will stay the same.
Yeah, it stays
even
the
if
same.
the artist changes, it stays very consistent.
Yeah.
But other, yeah. sometimes other things don't do as well with that.
What did y'all end up rating volume 9?
3.
What?
Or
I think I still gave it a 5 because I cried. I'm so emotional with my ratings.
Okay, hold up. Let's rewind. 3 stars?
3 stars.
Why?
Let me explain myself before you walk me to the plank.
I'm about to walk you to the plank, so please explain yourself.
So I was like, I am pissed off. Like, I was like, I don't think I've ever been that upset at something for a while book. And I was just steaming. So then I went down a rabbit hole of reviews, y'all. I'm sorry, I did. I said, I cannot be the only one that's rating it a 3 because the characters died that you didn't want to die. Like that, I can't be the only one.
no, somebody once started for that fact.
There were so many people being like, "It's a 3. Fuck it! I can't believe it did this to me." And I was like, "Me too. These fucking idiots! I can't believe." Like I was like so mad. So it's a 3. They hurt my feelings in like the worst way, and it's a 3 for me. But I gave 55 issue a 5.
Hey! Delete my number and block me. Delete my number and block me.
I love that though.
You.
No, I love that they hurt your feelings and you gave it a 3, and they made me cry, and I'm like 5 stars.
They hurt my feelings.
5 stars.
They hurt my feelings. I kind of want to dog walk their ass behind the alley, beat their ass. And that's just how I feel. So that's that on that and that on period. Because I couldn't. But 55, I did give 5 stars because the ending panel really, really secured it for me. But my feelings was really hurt. And I was like, you can't come back from being beheaded, and you can't come back from your heart just being taken out of your chest. So because they let me down, I let them down.
They'll never know.
I just don't feel like that's a valid reason, but
it's valid.
I did a 4.5 on volume 9 because I just kept thinking about how everyone had to wait 3 freaking years, and I just got mad. So I was like, I can't give you a full 5. 4.5.
I was so glad I didn't read it before now, though. Like,
I am too. I probably would have gave the shit 2 stars if I would have read it 3 years ago.
It would have like dropped every year that it didn't
until you got a new
story.
So you coming
like every
at
year
me?
You'd be like updating this, still no new issue.
So you coming at me because they ain't giving you an issue? You about to drop it?
Well, because you're reading it right as
now.
issue 55 was dropping, so for you to give it 3 stars, I don't feel like it's justifiable because it's not like the story wasn't going to continue after you read it.
No,
you would have read this 3 years ago and been like, Ash, I gotta give this 3 stars. But like, I feel your energy.
I just feel like the writer, the artist, the letterist is out here for us. They are really trying to ruin our lives. Like,
did you just figure that out right now after like volume 8 and 7 and all this kind of stuff too?
Coming at me after a little hostility. I feel some hostility.
They've been coming at us for so long.
I feel hostility from over there.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
I will say this. I understood the assignment when it was given. Okay. But upon reflection, I feel like they ain't shit but a bag of chips. And I really wish that they sucked a big pickle, if you know what I mean. So I'm sitting there reading this situation only for these fuckers to kill the 2 people that I fuck with, and especially the one robot television knock-kneed motherfucker who I hated in the beginning, but end up having a little heart for.
They made you fall
his head
in love
off
with him.
like he's a $2 hoe in these streets, just trying to make nickel and dime. So for me, I felt like for you to kill them was a hate crime, and I can't stand for it. And 3 stars. They better be lucky I can give their ass 1.
Well, I was just expecting you to bring the star rating down after that rant. Like,
I know,
I'm waiting for it to keep going down.
It's just, I just felt like it was disrespectful. Like this is not a happy comic. Not that we went in being like this is gonna be happy.
Oh, we knew.
But you can give us a little grace.
No.
A
Can we
little
appreciate though,
grace.
also?
I
that
mean, they
they
all
have
had a
not
partner
told
that got
us
to
as
live,
many
which just makes it worse,
like
you know. But
So
women
they out here are
characters.
semi-orphans? No, ma'am.
What'd you say, Izzy?
I mean, I have to appreciate in some ways that they did opt for Marco and not Alana, and like to continue the trend of like killing off women.
Yeah, I
no,
do
they killed off all the
appreciate that.
men, basically.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Not to say we have lost women in the series, but I
Right.
do have to commend that part a little bit.
Well, I mean, like in this volume, yeah, it was like basically all like the father figure type of stuff, and the photographer who he liked.
Oh yeah, he died too.
But like, so they're all basically leaving a partner of some sort or kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then they keep Gwen while she out here leaving.
Gwen wasn't even in volume 9, so I'm hoping something happens later. Yeah.
They keep her while she's out here leaving mustaches on folks.
Well,
yeah,
let's talk about issue 55 maybe too, because like Sophie's not even there anymore. She sent her to boarding school.
Yeah,
she sent Sophie to boarding school.
And the cat didn't even say
she wouldn't let her go with the Will, which I mean, good decision because of what he was going through at the time. But she sent her to boarding school. Come on,
because she doesn't have the responsibility of a child.
No,
she's gonna go fuck random
she just
people.
didn't want the Will to have her. That was petty.
You know what? There's gonna be some political intrigue. I think that's gonna come with because what's so interesting about this comeback, right, is that we know absolutely nothing. To be honest with you, when it's all said and done, we know nothing because we're 3 years in the future.
Right.
We know nothing about how Alana processed that loss. We know that clearly, Squire's not really processing anything well because he just stopped talking.
For 3 years, yeah.
Hazel, I feel like thinks that she's coping, but she's not. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't really have any information about anything because clearly Gwen is in some political position where she's trying to maintain her power. And she was about to lose it. She was about to lose it. And she said, they're trying to get rid of me for somebody else. And this will secure her position or whatever statement she made. So there's a lot going on. We don't even know what happened to Petri. Is it Petrichor?
Yeah.
Petrichor?
Yeah, we don't see her again.
We don't know what happened to the writer. We don't know what happened to the grandmother.
Well, I was wondering, when is she going to come back? Because she's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we knew she was going to be somewhere else than where she is, like they are. But like she's been gone for volumes.
Grandma out there tatted up, living her life.
She'll probably come back at a good point, hopefully.
Yeah, and I just felt really disrespected by volume 9. So I had to head out. I said 3 stars.
Yeah.
Boo, tomato.
Okay, but how did volume 55, volume 55, issue 55 make you feel? Not volume. Words, brain.
I get that. I gave it 5 stars because I really liked it.
I gave it a 4 because I think part of it is because it's an issue, and so it is shorter. But a lot of it was because we didn't get many answers, like where everybody else is. We have the new characters that were on the ship, like that guy. I can't remember his name, but I was just like, we had like no koala, almost like we have no actual like what happened yet. And so I was just like, it's good. I like that we're getting into it again, and it definitely feels like Saga, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't get enough to make it a 5-star.
Yeah, I think because we've been reading them so much, I think we're so used to getting
so much information
in full story arc.
Yeah, because we were reading the trades.
Because we were reading the trades, that now to walk into reading it issue by issue is almost kind of a emotional shock because you're like, when I got to the end of, because I wasn't even looking at the pages either. Like I was just reading.
No, I wasn't. Yeah.
So when I got to the end, I was like, wait, hold on. That's it? What's the rest? And I'm like, actually, you're reading an issue. So it definitely, it's going to be a heck of an adjustment. And I know that they're going to give us, what happens piece by piece, but it's going to be a long journey in figuring out, because they're going to have to circle back around to because what happened, how did they even figure out that Marco was killed? Because Marco and the Will weren't even. They had flown off.
Yes, Gwen mentions that they had the rings, and because the rings are paired,
Oh,
Alana probably felt Marco die.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see that, but Gwen sort of explained it.
Oh,
yeah. So I mean, we're gonna see a lot.
Well, and she sounded happy about that too, which was horrible.
Because Gwen's evil. Like
she is
absolute evil.
Oh yeah, Gwen is nasty.
Yeah,
Gwen is nasty.
It was also nice to see the panel when Alana Titties was out, because I was like,
oh yeah,
coming in.
Oh, let me tell you how hard I related to that, because I had a lot of trouble breastfeeding when my daughter was born because she could not latch and I was not producing. And the constantly being bombarded with like, you need to breastfeed, you need to breastfeed, you need, like, people don't realize that encouraging it is one thing, but also pushing it and pushing it and pushing it makes women feel like a failure when they can't do it. And I felt like a failure as a mother when I had to put my child on formula. And I had to hop over that hurdle and realize, like, my child has got to get nutrients in some way. My body just is not producing the way that it needs to produce, and she could not latch on.
No, I had the exact same issue. I think I ended up trying to pump, and when I would pump, I would only get like 1 ounce total.
Me too.
And so I was supplementing with formula, and I think I made it almost 2 months of like, you get 1 bottle of breast milk a week.
Yeah.
To supplement, because I wanted him to have something, because like they always force it down you. And then eventually I was like, you know what? My mental health is not worth this. I
was so stressed. And then I was a single mom trying to get up every couple of hours and freaking pump.
Well, and you had a C-section too, right?
And I had a C-section.
Same. Well, so and C-sections can make your formula or your breast milk worse.
It was
at the beginning. It's horrible.
It was horrible. And then I was in so much pain. They were like, you need to go see a lactician, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, y'all, literally, I was like, my child is taking the skin off of my nipples. I cannot do this. I'm in pain, okay? Like, I can't do it. I'm not producing. I cannot get up every 2 hours to pump when it literally is just me. And I have to get up at 6:30 to drop her off at daycare, and I have to go and work all day, and you want me to stop working every 2 hours and go pump in the nurse. I was like, ain't no way. I said, we just gonna have to do formula, because
jobs don't provide spaces for mothers to do that anyway.
A lot of jobs don't, but it's a lot more. There's a big wave of raising awareness about being able to breastfeed in a way that you're not being judged for it. And I'm all for that. But then people forget the educational side of it, that every woman cannot breastfeed. Our bodies are not all built the same. So where one parent could literally, they have to wean their child off of breast milk, like after a year, we never did that, because my body was not capable. So to see Alana be like, hey.
No, I love that.
I love that, where she's like, everybody cannot do breastfeeding. Like, it's just not a thing that everyone can do. And there's nothing wrong with using formula.
Well, and I thought it was so
good
like
to see in this too. To his
wife. Or about something.
Sometimes, because like even in like the volume 7, which I wasn't on the live port, I think it was, like in the abortion stuff, like talking about that, 8, like he handles it really well, and I'm like, you want to talk to your wife, buddy? Like,
I also feel like they're just doing
like
better.
They felt very accurate.
Yeah, they're just doing better with their representation and their issues that they're covering.
Yeah, I think you can see it the more like the years that have gone by, and like how more current certain things got to be, because like those first few issues were or even volumes were really early, and they were still good, but there was not as much like certain things like that where they were so like they would resonate so well.
Yeah,
and now there's like so many more, like every single time.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're over an hour. Do y'all have anything else that you would like to add? Any
think
final
so.
thoughts?
I was afraid at one point in volume 9 that the princeling was gonna die. Squire.
Yeah, I it was very hit or miss with that one, but I almost feel like because we didn't get to see him as much, it would have been hard because he's a child, but I don't think it would have been as emotional necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think somebody mentioned earlier, they're killing off a lot of fathers, and I feel like they're hitting you where it hurts a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They're making stuff count when they kill people off.
Yeah.
But did you have to kill Prince Robot and Marco in the same breath? 3 stars. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes.
My favorite TikTok song right
It's
now.
like a Disney movie. You can only have one parent alive, okay?
No. Acid, acid, acid. Bleach, bleach, bleach.
I'm done. I'm so done.
Oh, I hate it here.
All right, y'all.
But you liked 55, so.
I
You
did.
did like 55.
I also was like, oh, maybe don't get too deep in it. Just like Alyssa's, I was like, don't get too deep in it. You know, Marco's from the magical folks. Somebody's gonna rub a herb on him in time, gonna sing a little doo-dop, shadoop bop ba ba bamboo, and he's gonna come back. And my boy is dead.
Well, that's why they have the skull, I bet, is because people thought that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
But once you see that sort of is a little bit more dead than just like starting off right at the end of volume 9 with an actual body.
Yeah, he dead. He gonna go. And that's just what it is.
Well,
upsetting.
I don't know what we're going to do in the future, but we'll see. Because I highly doubt
maybe every couple issues.
Yeah, maybe every couple of issues.
Go live and talk.
Maybe like every 5 issues we'll go live and talk about it, because I know people I know Izzy, you weren't here at the last live show, but some people were asking like if we could continue to do the live shows. So we may do
I would be down for like every even 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. We'll see how our schedules are. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, and it would be literally like once every 3 to 4 months, to be honest.
Which would be good. I think that'd be not too bad.
Yeah. Well,
I could reread these every 3 to 4 months.
Thank y'all for joining us on this read. Y'all stuck with us from volume 1 to volume 9 up until issue 55. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. And we will let y'all know if we decide to do, a live show every, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Now we need the group therapy.
Yeah, we got to do it because we need group therapy now.
No, straight up.
It's true.
We're hoping for a better turn, okay?
We're not. Then they gonna kill Alana. We know she gonna die.
Why would you say that?
Because we know it's gonna happen.
Can we at least have a few volumes in between first? Like, let her live some
everybody's life because they ruined mine. Boo, tomato, tomato, acid, acid. Being a spoiled sport right now.
Oh my gosh.
I just haven't been devastated like that. And I never thought I would be devastated like that with a comic.
Oh yeah. There's some comments that are devastated. Oh yeah, there's some comments that are definitely ripped through you.
Which is why I think Fiona is so brilliant, because her artwork really made it. That was a devastation. It wasn't even the words.
Yeah, her art captures the emotions.
It did. And I almost passed out. Me and my homegirls. If we can't go to Bella Noche's, where the hell can we go?
I'm done. Good night, y'all. Good night. We have to get Brie off the internet right now. We're getting Brie off the internet. Good night. If we decide to do the every 3 to 4 months, we will make an announcement and let y'all know. But thank you for joining us and reading volumes 1 through 9 and issue 55. Hope you all have had a great experience. I know it's been fun and a delight talking about these volumes with y'all. And hopefully we'll talk to y'all in the future. Bye. Good night.